Hi, the doctor's in. I'm Dr. LB, and I'm here to help you through your math difficulties. Today, we're going to graph exponential equations. So, in the last lecture, we talked about the basic graph of f of x equals b to the x when b is bigger than 1 and when b is between 0 and 1. And we noted that, hey, if we know the y-intercept, another point on the graph, 1 comma b, and we know that we have an horizontal asymptote, then we can do transformations on this particular graph. So in the next few things here, let c be a positive real number, and we're going to look at f of x equals b to the x. So when you add c to the function b to the x, then it's going to shift the graph c units upward. When you subtract c, it's going to be c units down. When you add c within that power, it's going to be c units left. When you subtract c up there in that power, it's going to be c units right. When you have a negative in front of the function itself, it's going to be a reflection about the x-axis. And when you have a negative power, then it's going to be a reflection about the y-axis. So we're going to do a few graphs where we use these transformations. And we're going to start off by graphing f of x equals 3 to the x. Now, if you remember, we just stated that we're going to have the y-intercept is 0, 1. And another point on the graph is the point 1, b, or here 1, 3. And then we have as a horizontal, it's a horizontal asymptote, the x-axis. So this is the graph of our f of x. Let's look at g of x. G of x is x plus 2, or 3 to the x plus 2 power. So when you're adding 2 within the power, this is going to shift your graph 2 units left. So I go to my previous points here, and I shift it over 2 to the left. I shift this point 1, 3 over 2 to the left. Now when I shift this graph left to right, my horizontal asymptote is not going to change. So this is my graph of g of x. So our horizontal asymptote did not change. It's the horizontal line y equals 0. Our domain does not change. And when we're shifting the graph left to right, we haven't moved it up or down, so our range stays the same as well. Let's look at another one. 3 to the x plus 2. This is going to shift the graph 2 units upward. Again, let's go ahead and graph our 3 to the x. We have 0, 1 and 1, 3. This is the basic shape of f of x. So 2 units up are now our horizontal asymptote will shift 2 units up. This point 0, 1 shifts 2 units up. This point 1, 3 shifts 2 units up. So this is our g of x. So again, our horizontal asymptote, it changes to y equals 2 because it shifts 2 units upward. Our domain stays the same. And our range, because we shifted up, then since 2 is a horizontal asymptote, we're going to start open at 2 to infinity. Let's look at another one. Here we have 3 to the x plus 2 minus 1. So this plus 2 as a power is going to be 2 left. That minus 1 will represent 1 down. So let's go ahead and draw our 3 to the x graph. And let's go ahead and let's draw our graph. When we shift one down, our horizontal asymptote will go one down. This point goes one down. This point goes one down. So our graph looks something like this. So in this case, our horizontal asymptote went one down, so we have y equals -1. Our domain does not change, and our range, it changes because we shifted one down. It's going to be -1 to infinity. Let's look at another one. G of x equals e to the -x. Well, just like we've done 3 to the x, let's graph just plain old f of x equals e to the x. Now, we said that, e to the x is just like b to the x. It's just dealing with a base of b. So here the horizontal asymptote would be the x-axis. You have a point 0, 1, and you have a point 1, b, but in this case it's 1, e. Remember, e is 2.71, so it's about there. So this is the graph of our f of x. So this negative in front of this function represents a reflection about the x-axis. So with a reflection, this point here that was 0, 1, we're not going to have 0, -1. This point here that was 1, e is now going to be 1, -e. The horizontal asymptote will not change. So our graph will look something like that. So our horizontal asymptote is still y equals 0. Our domain is still -infinity to +infinity. Our range changes now. We're going to come up from -infinity to 0, not including 0. So remember that Dr. LB is always in. Please come back for more math help.